Your reptile does not look at you and think that there's a human being with thoughts, feelings, and intentions like mine. That may sound obvious, but a lot of keepers still accidentally build their expectations around that idea. They expect recognition to look like mammal recognition. They expect affection to look like mammal affection. They expect the animal to know them in the same emotional framework a dog or cat might use. But reptiles do not process the world that way. That does not mean they are dumb. It does not mean they are empty. And it definitely does not mean they are incapable of learning, remembering, or responding to the people around them. It means their brains are built for a different kind of world. Today we are breaking down why your reptile does not see you as a human, what it likely does see instead, and why understanding that difference makes you a better keeper. Because once you stop trying to force mammal logic onto reptile behavior, everything starts making more sense. Welcome back to the Reptile Lab. If you are new here, subscribe now, because this is where we go beyond the usual care advice and get into how reptiles actually think. Stay to the end, because number 7 is the part most people misunderstand the most. Number 1. It sees movement, scent, and pattern before it sees identity. A reptile is not walking around with a human concept of personhood. It is not asking, who is this individual? Well, in the way we do. It is much more likely asking, what is this movement? What is this scent? What pattern does this presence belong to? That is a very different kind of awareness. Reptiles are built to process the world through survival-relevant information first. Movement matters because movement can mean food or danger. Scent matters because scent can tell them what kind of creature is nearby. Pattern matters because repeated patterns tell them whether a presence is safe, familiar, or unpredictable. So when you walk up to your reptile, the reptile is not immediately categorizing you as a social being. It is categorizing the sensory input you bring with you. That does not make the animal emotionally empty. It makes it practical. And once you understand that, you stop expecting the wrong kind of response. Number 2. It does not experience you as a story. It experiences you as an event. Humans build people in our minds. We remember faces, names, histories, personalities, moods, and emotional context. We see a person as a story unfolding over time. A reptile does not do that. What it experiences is closer to an event sequence. You appear. The room changes. Something may happen next. Maybe food, maybe handling, maybe cleaning, maybe nothing. The reptile learns the sequence, not the biography. That means your reptile can absolutely remember that you tend to bring something specific into its world. But it is not likely to be holding a human-style relationship model in the way people imagine. This is why keepers sometimes misread behavior. If the reptile does not act happy to see them, they assume the animal does not care. But the animal may care in its own way, by reducing stress around you, by becoming more predictable around your presence, or by no longer reacting defensively when you enter. That is still a relationship. It just is not a human one. Number 3. It does not assign you human meaning. It assigns you survival meaning. This is one of the biggest differences between reptile cognition and human cognition. When a reptile notices you, it is more likely to be sorting you into a category like safe, unsafe, feeding-related, handling-related, neutral, or uncertain. That is not the same as saying, this is my person. The reptile's brain is asking questions that are much more immediate. Can I stay here? Do I need to move? Do I need to hide? Do I need to eat? Do I need to defend myself? That is survival meaning. And it is why so much reptile behavior is easy to misunderstand if you expect emotional symbolism from it. Stillness may mean trust. Retreat may mean caution. Tongue flicking may mean active assessment. Staying out in the open may mean the animal has categorized your presence as non-threatening. None of that requires the reptile to see you as human. It only requires the reptile to learn that your presence fits into a useful category. That is much more important for husbandry than trying to force a human relationship onto an animal that was never built for that kind of social framing. Number 4. It learns from repetition, not explanation. A reptile does not understand why you do what you do in the way a person would. It does not care about your intentions the way another human might. It learns from what repeatedly happens. That means if you want your reptile to feel safe around you, a lesson is built through repetition. Same approach, same timing, same handling style. same feeding pattern, same calm energy, same results. Over time, the reptile begins to expect what usually follows your appearance, and that expectation matters more than a verbal explanation ever could. This is one reason some keepers get better results than others even when they are both nice to their animals. One person is consistent. The other is emotionally kind but behaviorally unpredictable. The reptile will usually trust the pattern more than the feeling. That can be frustrating for humans because we want our goodwill to be obvious. But reptiles do not read goodwill directly. They read consistency. That is not cold. It is just how their learning works. Number 5. It cannot see your moral identity. It can only see your impact. This may be the simplest way to understand it. Your reptile does not know whether you are a good person in the human ethical sense. It does not know your character, your values, your intentions, or your self-image. It only knows what your presence tends to do. Do you bring food? Do you cause disturbance? Do you move quickly? Do you stay calm? Do you create predictable handling? Do you create stress? Do you cause the environment to shift in a way that matters to the animal? That is the kind of identity a reptile learns. Impact identity. And that can change over time. If your impact becomes safer and more predictable, the reptile's response can improve. If your impact becomes stressful or chaotic, the reptile may back away, become defensive, or start associating you with discomfort. This is why "my reptile hates me" is usually the wrong sentence. The better question is, what impact has my presence been having? That question leads to better behavior from the keeper, which leads to better outcomes from the animal. Number 6. It may recognize you without understanding you. This is one of the most interesting parts of reptile behavior. A reptile can absolutely learn that one specific human is different from another human. It may react more calmly to a familiar handler than to a stranger. It may accept routine more easily from a person it has learned to associate with low-risk experiences. It may even show clear differences in body language, depending on who is present. But recognition is not the same as human-style understanding. The reptile may know your scent, your movement, your timing, your handling style, your general pattern. It may even know that you tend to be the one who brings food or performs certain tasks. That is real recognition, but it does not require the reptile to think, "This is my owner, and I love them because of our shared life story." It only needs to know, "This presence usually means X." That distinction matters because it keeps your expectations realistic. And realistic expectations are what lead to better reptile care. Number 7. It experiences you as part of its environment, not as a human peer. This is the part most people miss. Your reptile does not place you in the same social category you place yourself in. It does not see you as a peer, a companion in the human sense, or a fellow mind with the same social rules. Instead, it likely experiences you as a recurring environmental force. You are part of the world. A significant part, maybe, but still part of the world. That sounds impersonal, but it is actually the key to understanding reptile trust. Because once you become part of the environment, the reptile can learn you in a way that is stable and useful. You can become a known factor instead of an unknown one. You can become safe instead of scary. You can become predictable instead of disruptive. That is the foundation of a good reptile relationship, not mutual human understanding, environmental stability. And that is not a downgrade. It is just the truth of how these animals live. If you keep expecting your reptile to see you as another human, you will keep missing the ways it actually does know you. But if you accept that it sees you through a different lens, in the whole relationship, it becomes easier to read. So why does not your reptile see you as a human? Because it was never built to. It sees movement, scent, pattern, repetition, and impact. It learns safety, not social identity. It recognizes familiarity, not personhood in the human sense. And once you understand that, you stop asking the wrong questions. You stop asking, "Does it love me like a dog?" And you start asking, "Does it feel safe when I am here?" That is the better question. That is the more useful question. And for a reptile, that is usually the one that matters most.